You ever feel that simmering frustration? That kind of vexation that almost feels like it has a life of its own? Well, we're about to step into a little parable about that very internal discord. Welcome to the Gremian Council. Think about that for a second. It's not just about the provocations, it's about the ones we refuse to ignore. This hints at a haunting that doesn't come from the outside. No, it's born right here, inside us. It comes from the friction that happens when what we want to do meets what we actually fail to do. So here's a thought. What if the ghost that haunts you isn't a noun, not some thing lurking in the shadows? What if it's an action, an ancient, relentless verb that you yourself keep putting into motion? And that brings us to Act 1, a haunting of verbs. This is where we see frustration literally given breath and bone. We're going to trace the origin of this council that seems to govern our deepest frustrations, this ghost that is, well, entirely of our own making.
It all goes back to this Old English verb, gremian. You see, it's not just about feeling angry, it's the act of provocation. It's an active, visceral process of vexing, of enraging. It's something that happens.
So this is the main thing to get straight. The council isn't some external invader attacking you. No, it's the ghost of your own mounting frustration. It's born in that tiny little space where your blood starts to simmer, right where what you want to do clashes with what you actually end up doing. Okay, on to Act 2, the ancient grudge. It's time to meet the first member of this council. And let me tell you, this is the oldest, most primal voice in the room. This is the very foundation of the grudge itself.
You know that feeling, right? That sudden, raw, boiling rage that comes out of nowhere. Well, where does it come from? Its source is the ancient grum, what we now call the id. It's a raw, totally unrefined hostility that just paces the floorboards of your mind like a caged beast.
Yeah, it's not sophisticated. It's a primal force, a guttural rasp. It has one job and one job only: to stir your blood until it boils, to get you to that grim rage that just shatters all your composure. It's the spark for every single internal struggle.
Now for Act 3, the judge in the robes. See, raw rage, it's fleeting. To become a real haunting, it needs structure. So we go from hot rage to a cold prison. Let's meet the second member, the one who takes all that fire and forges it into a cage.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How does a flash of anger become this permanent state of being, a prison of guilt? The answer, my friends, lies with the council's judge.
This is the superego, the so-called spirit of negation in its cold, stiff robes. First, it holds up a mirror to show you the ideal, what you should have done. Then it seasons that failure with a heavy dose of guilt. And finally, it turns that temporary agitation into a permanent indictment against you. It builds the psychological prison, piece by painful piece.
Welcome to Act 4, the steward's mask. So we've got primal rage and cold judgment. But how does this whole haunting actually show up in our everyday lives? Well, for that, you need a manager, a weary steward to wear the mask. The ego's job? It's all about translation. It takes this profound internal war between raw rage and harsh judgment, and it reframes it as something small, something manageable. It gives you an external excuse, a mask to explain away your crumbling composure. And here are its favorite disguises. That immense internal pressure you're feeling? Oh, it's just a computer bug. That boiling frustration? It's just because you misplaced your keys again. The ego's genius is turning the profound into the petty, making sure the real source of the conflict stays hidden forever. So, Act 5, the unholy trinity. Now we get to see how these three voices actually work together. And they don't fight. Oh no. They work in this perfect, terrible harmony, creating a self-sustaining cycle of vexation.
I mean, their collaboration is uncanny. You've got the id providing the raw, hot rage. Then the superego takes that rage and cools it into a rigid, inescapable cage of guilt. And finally, the ego presents this entire internal catastrophe to the world as, just another bad day.
And this is the most chilling part of the whole thing. We are the ones who power it. Our pride, our frustration, our refusal to just let things go, that is the fuel. The more you curse the darkness, the bigger the white expands.
And so we arrive at our final act, Act V, the ghost in the mirror. We've met the council. We've seen how they operate. Now it's time for the big reveal, where the architect of ancient vexation is finally unmasked.
So after all of this, who is it? Who is the true master of the council? Who is this architect of ancient vexation that seems to watch our internal struggle with such cold, detached fascination?
The answer is, and really it has always been, you. The gremlin isn't some demon or some external spirit. It's a reflection. The council is a construct, something we built to explain our own shortcomings, to give a face to the friction that we create entirely within ourselves.
And this is the end result. We literally become haunted by verbs. When you're in the grip of the council, the whole world shifts. Every creak of the floorboards becomes a direct provocation. Every shadow becomes a vexation of the soul. Why? Because we're already primed for the torment. We're looking for it.
So the gremlin is always there, just huddled in a corner of your mind, waiting. It only has power when we choose to give it power, when we feed it with our pride and our rage. The council only convenes when we call it to session. So the only question that's left is, are you going to provide the fire?